So let's move on to the next question, guys. In this question, we are given that y is greater than or equal to 2, and we have to compare y factorial upon 5 into y minus 2 factorial, y plus 1 factorial upon 3 into y minus 1 factorial, right? So let's start solving this. So y factorial upon 5 into y minus 2 factorial, right? So because there is a y minus 2 factorial, right? So what can we write y factorial as? Because we know, for example, what is 4 factorial? 4 factorial is 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So basically we keep reducing one term. 4 minus 1, 3. 3 minus 1, 2. 2 minus 1, 1. Right? Similarly, we can write y factorial as y into, we reduce 1, this becomes y minus 1. We again reduce 1, this becomes y minus 2 factorial. I hope this makes sense. So we can write y factorial as y into y minus 1 into y minus 2 factorial, right? Upon, this is what? 5 into y minus 2 factorial. I hope this is pretty clear. So we cancel both these things. So this becomes y into y minus 1 upon 5, right? So y factorial upon 5 into y minus 2 factorial is simplified into this. So I think let's directly write this over here. So we can write this as y minus 1 upon 5. I hope this makes complete good sense, right? Okay, now let's talk about this, right? So what is this? This is y plus 1 factorial upon 3 into y minus 1 factorial. Now what can this be written as? We can write this as y plus 1 into, we reduce 1 from this, so it becomes y. We again reduce 1, so this becomes y minus 1 factorial. I hope this should be pretty clear. Upon, this is 3 into y minus 1 factorial, right? So we cut y minus 1 factorial, y minus 1 factorial. So what we get is y plus 1 into y upon 3. I hope this is also pretty clear, right? So we can just write this as y plus 1 into y upon 3, right? So basically now we have to compare this and this. These are the two things that we have to compare, right? Okay. So if you see, there is y common in both these things. Y is common in this and y is common in this, right? So essentially we have to compare only y minus 1 upon 5 and y plus 1 upon 3. Why? Because in both these cases y is common, so we don't care about y. We only care about the remaining part, which is y minus 1 upon 5 and y plus 1 upon 3, right? Now tell me one thing. We know y is greater than or equal to 2, right? So if you look at the numerator, y minus 1 and y plus 1, which will be greater? If y is equals to 2, y is equals to 3, y is equals to 4, or y is equals to 2.5, 3.5, whatever, obviously y plus 1 will always be greater than y minus 1, right? I mean, very obvious sense, because you are adding 1 to the y and you are subtracting 1. So obviously this part is greater, right? This part is greater. Now tell me one thing, if you look at the denominator, obviously the denominator is 5 in this and it is 3 in this, so this is larger. If the denominator is larger, overall the value will be smaller, right? And in this case, overall the value will be larger. So numerator is also big, right? And denominator is small, which makes it even bigger. Therefore, obviously this part is greater than this part. I hope this makes complete sense. This part is greater than this part. This entire thing is greater than this entire thing because the numerator is bigger and the denominator is smaller, due to which the overall thing becomes much more bigger. So that is why your answer becomes this part will be greater than this. So that is why your final answer becomes B. I hope this should be pretty clear.